Welcome back to another video. My name is Evan Albrecht. I'm a professional surf and sports photographer here in San Diego. Today, I'm going to be talking about this lens right here, the RF 70-200, and why this is a must-have for all action shooters. So first off, a little bit about this. I got this lens right when I got my Canon R5 a few years ago. This lens has really filled in the gap between my 24-70 and my 1-400. And this lens is so compact, look at this. This is insane. And this lens is weighs probably less than half of this one. And if you put it in your bag, you can have two of these lenses for each one of these. So that is the biggest thing for me, is this compactness. But let's get right into it. I put some notes here so wouldn't get too sidetracked because I do love this lens so much. So first off, that wide f2.8 aperture is a must-have for sports. So you get this frozen action and you really isolate the subjects with those shots. So I'll throw some in right here where you have that nice, blurry, soft background, because in those sports, you don't want a really harsh background, especially you're shooting some sports and there's fans in the background. You can't even see the player if he's not isolated from the background. You really want that compression almost, but then a blurred background, which is exactly what this lens gives you. Where lenses like this, my 1-400, this starts at a f4.5 to 5.6. And if I'm shooting this at 400, it's at least a f5.6. Lighting and all of that, it usually is a little bit higher than that too. So you're not getting a lot of separation and it's so compact. You're really hard to separate the background from the subject, which is key to get really good sports photos. So that is the first thing. F2.8 RF is amazing for this lens. If you don't know the f2.8, you need an f2.8 lens. I know the f4 is a lot cheaper, also a good lens, but definitely not as good as this f2.8. Also in low lighting, this lens will be superior with that f2.8 other than that 4. Next thing is the outstanding image quality and sharpness. So when I looked this up, reviewers regarded this lens as one of the sharpest zoom lenses we've ever tested on a lot of websites actually. So offering crisp detail, critical for action frames, even when shooting handheld with this in action stabilizer right here. So there's multiple stabilizer modes right here. Boom. And then also there's the autofocus, and then there's different focus pulls as well. So a lot of stuff on this lens that you can do where a lot of lenses don't have that. The new lenses do, which is why it is so important to get these lenses. And although it definitely is a lot of money, the bang for your buck is so worth it if you're using this a lot. And especially if you're shooting sports, this lens will probably be in your bag every time you go out because it has that 70 where you can get pretty wide up to the subject, really close to them. And then also that 200 where if they're further away, that 200 is perfect for that. Obviously, depending on the sports, football, soccer, if they're really far away on the other side of the field, you'll probably need something like this, maybe even longer, like a 4 or 500. Obviously, that's a totally different lens, but for those normal shots, this 70-200 is perfect for those and has outstanding image quality and just amazing sharpness within those photos, no matter the lighting conditions, because that f2.8 allows you to shoot in various lighting conditions at night, that when it's sunrise, sunset, all of that just works out so well, and the image quality is unmatched. Number 3, advanced image stabilization. So already talked about this a little bit, but it has 5-stop image stabilization system. Usually when I'm shooting, I'm going handheld or have a monopod, but totally depends. I know some sports you're kind of running around. I've shot golf before, shot a PGA event. I was basically just running around from event to event, shooting mostly handheld on that, where if I'm doing soccer, volleyball, stuff like that, the monopod lets you have that flexibility with movement as well, but you're still not as stabilized as that. So having that 5-stop image stabilization is the key to maintaining those sharp photos, and is just a game changer for a lens like this for sports. So the 4th thing I want to talk about is the compact design and how much lighter it is than previous models. So I don't have the previous model because I actually sold it with my other camera, but I looked it up and it said it is about 410 grams lighter and also more compact. And this is it next to the 1-400 again. So if I start at the bottom, I mean, this is ridiculous. And this lens, easily twice as heavy, probably 3 times as heavy, which is just ridiculous. And if you have this in your bag, you're running around, you need to have this compact design because it'll make it, first off, your back's gonna hurt a lot less. You're gonna be able to have more lenses, more gear in there, and it's just so nice to have on your camera because if you're doing a handheld, a monopod, so much easier to stabilize this if it's a lot lighter than the other lenses. So much less like top heavy. It is just so much more harder to stabilize that on that. So that lighter compact design is a game changer for these cameras and these lenses. So highly recommend, honestly, just because of that, if you're traveling a lot, this is worth it just because of how small and compact this lens is. It's insane. So if you're traveling a lot or you're just shooting for like a few days in a row, this lens is a game changer to add to your bag. Fifth thing I want to talk about is fast, smooth, and accurate autofocus. So for sports, I have noticed one of the biggest differences ever with this lens versus this lens. So this lens is an EF lens, 1:400. Honestly, a really nice lens still, but a little bit older, probably like 10 years old, honestly. Didn't use it a lot at first and got it secondhand, but this lens compared to this lens focuses probably twice as fast, which is just ridiculous. Like the speed of the autofocus, different subjects moving in frame, and then also other subjects moving in front. So I shot football, was shooting the running back, and there'd be a lot of guys like trying to tackle him, stuff like that, and it's pulling focus. But then you go into those modes in your camera, this is ridiculously fast at switching autofocus and so accurate. Like it'll find someone's face if it's like 100 yards away and it's like tracking their face still. Like it's unreal the autofocus that this thing has, and you need this for sports because, I mean, what else are you trying to zoom in on? Like you really want this to be on their face, where you don't want this to be on a ball with some person all blurry then behind it. You want it to be on that person and then also have everything in front of it in focus. And it just makes it such a big game changer for sports and makes you miss so many less shots. Sixth thing is that it's a professional L series quality lens. So I've had this when it's like raining, and it was kind of freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, like it's raining. I have this really expensive lens, but these things are totally watertight. I actually had an incident in surf photography where my water housing kind of drowned and flooded, and my camera actually ended up being totally all right. Did have to take it to Canon and they had to fix some things, but I thought my camera, my lens, and everything were done. All they had to do is give a cleaning to my lens, which is ridiculous, and then fix some of the stuff on my camera. But for that to happen with salt water is ridiculous for these lenses. And these lenses are so amazing with that. Like you can honestly dip it in water and it wouldn't fill up with water, which is just crazy to me. But I obviously would not do that. But just to have that safety and security, if you drop it, stuff like that, it is going to be a lot more protected than getting a cheap plastic lens. So definitely think about that when you're running around, little run and gun shooter, especially with sports. A lot of stuff can happen, trip and fall. It's rainy, you get dirt in there. Like, I don't even know, shooting like motocross, stuff like that. There's dirt flying in your camera. I'm doing a shoot with surf where they're actually shaping boards, so there's going to be dust all over. So this is going to be a perfect lens for that. Get that watertight, that sealed, dirt tight. You do not want all this dirt and stuff getting in your camera. Also, it just makes it a lot easier so you don't have to clean it all the time, because I know some people have to take their lenses to Canon like every few months to get them fully cleaned. That is so expensive, more expensive than just getting a good quality lens. So make sure you're getting that good quality lens for that. And that's all I have to talk about for today. But overall, this lens has been amazing for my surf photography. Definitely one of my favorite lenses. Always have this in my bag just because so compact. I don't know why you wouldn't always have this in your bag, because such a good lens range as well, where the 70 to 200, I mean, I just have my 24 to 70 in there and then my 70 to 200 when I travel. And that's it, because that's really all you need. You don't have to have 20 lenses in your bag. I know some people have a ton of lenses, but if you're a true professional photographer and you're not trying to carry a ton of prime lenses, you're traveling a lot, this is a perfect lens for that. Also my 24 to 70, which I love, which might make a video on that as well, because that barely ever leaves my camera, just because shooting videos like this, surf photography, stuff like that. But that's all I have for the video. Comment down below if you have this lens and what you think about it, or if you're looking at getting it. Let me know if you have any questions down below on it. But share this video with your friends. Like this video, really helps me out. All that stuff. Subscribe for more videos like this, building an awesome community. And yeah, grinding out videos, having a lot of fun with it. Let me know what you want to see next as well, and see you next video.